Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. I'm Brian Sheffy.
And I'm Donya Williams. Hey, everybody. We are live. We are live. I just want to say happy birthday. Happy Mother's Day to all of our families out there, those cousins of mine that I haven't talked to in such a long time, like Melissa and Shirley and all of those different people. Happy Mommy's Day to you guys. So
And
we go ahead, Brian.
just want to say, hopefully, you all having, who's celebrating Mother's Day. Hopefully, you're having an amazing one wherever you are. And I'm hoping the weather is a lot better than it is here in Charleston. It is a
Oh,
miserable day.
it is beautiful here in the DC area. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're going to get started. We're going to jump right into this show because I'm telling you guys, those that know me, you know that my favorite show that comes on every Sunday at 9 o'clock is Relative Race. It is the best show on, not on TV. It's on the internet, it's on the app, it's on their phone, and we are live with Team Red. And it is my
Hi.
favorite show. And this is Kayli and Uncle Dan from Team
Hello.
Red. And on from Relative Race. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Good, good,
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you guys for having us on the show. Thank
Oh,
you.
Yes.
we love you guys. We love you guys so much. So I'm gonna give a little background about each one. Kayli De Bernardi. Am I saying
Deb
that right?
Bernardi. Yes,
De
Deb Bernardi.
Bernardi. Kayli is from Tucson, Arizona. She's been married for 16 years, and with her husband, they have three beautiful boys. Happy Mother's Day, Kayli.
Thank you.
She's currently a stay-at-home mom, and she homeschools all three boys. Her show background is that she was originally on season 13, where in episode 7, where she met her cousin Ashley and Brennan. Hey y'all, I'm hoping y'all are online too. Love you
Hello.
guys. For the first time, and it was the first time that she had heard about the show. And after watching several seasons, decided that she wanted to find her biological father. She grew up under the impression that her father was one man, and when she was 32, took a DNA test and found out that it was actually another man and had no idea he had existed. Dan, he is 53 from Buckeye, Arizona, and Kayli's uncle through marriage. He married her aunt. They have been married for 13 years and have two sons, two stepsons. He works building patios and awnings and enjoys playing board games and traveling to local breweries. Dan was adopted at 3 weeks old from Spokane, Washington, and grew up with zero information on his biological family, both mom and dad. He was raised with the most loving adoptive parents and sister, and after the death of his adoptive parents, Dan was interested in learning more about his true roots. So, given that, I need people to understand with the information that has been given, this is what relative race is about. So what you're going to learn is what they have found so far and how they found it. And that's what's so great about relative race. And this is why I love this show. And this is why y'all always hear on Sundays after around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, why I'm crying. Now, with that being
Me
So,
too.
I'm just going to give a really quick rundown on what relative race is for people who aren't familiar with it. So, as Donnie said, relative race is season 15 at the moment. It airs at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern
9
Standard
o'clock
Time.
Eastern
9
Standard.
o'clock Eastern Standard Time on BYU TV. Free app, free show. Download it, watch it. Can't recommend it enough. So it is a genealogy competition. No, you are not going to learn about how to do genealogy, but they use genealogy to find people's family that they discover that they are connected to and related to. It is a competition. At the end of it, the winning team wins $50,000. Um, but what I really love about this show is even though it is a competition, every single season, the love and the camaraderie shared between all four teams it is phenomenal. Um, and I really want to start at that point. Um, how long of a period do all four teams kind of have together before the competition officially starts? Before that first time that you went on that ship and you met Dan, the host. Um, you had to run around and do the task, and then you're literally off on day one. How long did the four teams have to kind of meet each other and gel?
Our season was really quick. I'm not sure how other seasons work, but for us, we flew in. We met the teams, we had dinner with them, and then the next day we spent all day in media day.
Yeah.
So maybe a day and a half before. But I mean, the second you meet all four teams, I mean, we met everybody. We were all in with each other and
Yeah.
really connected. We wanted to hear everybody's story. So I think it was an instant connection between all of us
Yeah. And
immediately.
we have a really strong bond with
Yeah.
the other teams. We have group texts that we text each other, several times a day sometimes, It's kind of cool, the connection that we had from day one.
Yeah, I feel like they're just as much family as the family that we met on this journey
Yeah.
at this point.
And again, for people who aren't familiar with the show, your phones are taken off of you. So, your everyday kind of home phone, they're like, Dan is like, nah, come on, cough it up. And they actually give you a very stripped down mobile phone. What is that like? Just being cut off from your phone and all of those contacts and people that you love in those phones.
I think that in our world today, we're on social media and things like that all the time. So for me, it was a great break to have that kind of taken away, but not being able to call home and talk to your children or your husband or your family.
Yeah.
That was really hard. Every day you want to call them at the end of the day and just let them know what has happened, and you can't. So you're really homesick. The only people we could contact were the other teams. And so you have to really rely on each other during this time to talk about your emotions and kind of text back and forth and just kind of hope that they will answer and, be there to support you through it. And luckily we had great teams that did.
Yeah.
And this one's for Dan first. Did being cut off from the people that you'd grown up with and that you deeply love, did that kind of being cut off from them in that way really help you focus on what you were there to do and to kind of get through everything you had to go through every day?
I think so, yeah. Doing the challenges in the morning, or saying goodbye to the family that you just met the night before, doing the challenge, doing the drive, and just the emotions and stuff of getting ready to see the next family member that you're going to meet. I don't think I really missed the phone, but yeah, I think it did help me focus.
I miss GPS. I really did miss the ability to find anything. We take it so for granted. And
Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah.
I miss GPS.
It's true. And again, for everyone watching, they're stripped down phones. When I say they're stripped down, no GPS, and part of it is before you even can get the address of the mystery relative that you're going to meet, you have to do a challenge. And I just wanted to spend a hot minute on it because the challenges, these are seemingly simple, but they're diabolical.
Yeah.
How did you guys, and you guys always seem to take it in your stride and just dealt with it with really, really good humor, which I absolutely love. But watching it was painful. How diabolical was it to actually do any of them?
That boat, that first day, I think Dan and I were on a really good high. We came off the boat. We did really well. We came in first place. And so we were excited and having a great day. And then we hit that second challenge. Yeah. And it went south really fast. There was no way for us to recover from it. I fell on my face. I think it's the moment that both of us looked at each other and said, what did we sign up for?
That's what I felt.
What are we involved in right now? And I think that's when we noticed it was going to be really hard for us. Yeah. And we had to do some readjusting.
It was totally, oh my goodness, I'm realizing my age right now.
See, that's my fear because I'm the same age as you, Dan. So I know I've been trying to get my cousin to get on the show because we're having some difficulty finding her mom. It's not like finding far back. It's actually close up, and we're trying to find information about her mom, not finding her mom, but more information about her mother. And I'm like, well, maybe we need to get on a show like Relative Race and do something like that. And she was like, girl, we old. And so
Right.
and that's what she said. She's like, girl, we old. And I'm like, we could do it. But then I'll be watching y'all, and I'm like, maybe she right.
You can do it. You can do it, and you should. You
The-
should do it.
The
but-
second day was the worst. They got easier after that.
At least for us, they
So-
did. Yeah. I
Because
think
I'm an old girl. I'm an old girl with old bones. I don't know.
well, and then you're so worried about embarrassing yourself, and then you
That
don't want to
part.
make a fool, and then you fall on your face. So at that
Right.
point, you can't get any worse. So I
I
think
don't
for
think
Dan
I'm worried
and I,
about
if you're
embarrassing
saying-
myself. I'm just
Oh, I
more
was.
so worried because I have children who like to embarrass me. Period. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Right?
I think it's just more so. I'm just fat and old, so I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
I think the challenges were a really good break for us in the daytime because you're so stressed out and you're so emotional, and you leave your family member in the morning. So that's really emotional, and it's hard because you don't feel like you have enough time. And then all of a sudden, you're okay. You got to get into game mode. We got to find this address. We've got to get to this challenge, and so it switches your mindset a little bit and makes it easier for you to kind of focus and like compartmentalize your day. And it kind of gives you a little bit of fun in the middle of the daytime in such a stressful situation. So I was grateful for the challenges, but they were a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, that actually brings me neatly to my next question. That was a perfect layup for it, actually. So you're already stressed, you're probably a little tired, and you're very emotional, and then you have to drive, which for me, Donnie will tell you, road rage. Driving is stressful and emotional at times. Anyway, you guys were hitting traffic and all of those good things. How do you process? Obviously, you just want to offload that when you see the person that you're there to see. How do you work through all of those emotions?
For me, it was just being curious about the next challenge, being curious about who we're going to meet next. Thinking about the families that we've that we grew up with, that we love, and then being with Kayli, she was a great partner. She helped out a lot. It was great having her there. I don't think we ever had a cross word towards each other. We never said anything bad towards each other. We just kind of communicated.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped us out a lot.
And Dan's a fantastic navigator. So I think there was only one, I think it was episode 3 when we're going to his mom's house. And there's 2 ways to get to Yale. And we wanted to get on the 44th. And there's halfway through, and they don't show it. He goes, I think we're on the wrong freeway. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
and he's like, this isn't, he's like, we're not on the right freeway. And, that was like the only moment in our driving to each city that we had that was stressful because we had to come up with a second plan. I think Houston was the death of us. I think it was just awful in Houston, like trying to get through the traffic and figure out our ways. And so we got really stressed out in Houston. But other than that, the drive was easy. And Dan would just be like, we're on mile 135. We've got 4 more miles to go. I mean, he would measure it out and be like, it's going to be 100 and some odd miles to the next location.
Well,
And I
that's
was like, how do
because
you know?
we're Gen Xers and we had to
Yeah.
do those things. That's what
Yes.
that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's
he would
what it is.
go stand outside and he'd be like, the sun is coming up from this way, so this is east, and we're gonna need to go this way, and like,
Oh my God.
that was just so
So,
funny.
I think that part there helped me out to
So I
kinda
had a friend.
prepare
I have
for
a
the-
friend. One of my best friends. He could look at the sky and tell the time.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
He could literally look at the sky and say, "It's so much time. It's this o'clock." And we would look. Everybody would look at their watch, and he would be right. So when you said that, that's why I'm like, "Oh my God!" So you're that kind of person, Dan. We could have hung out when we were teenagers.
Yeah, that would
I
have been
can see
fun.
Yeah.
We could have hung out. But that's what that is. And I was gonna ask that question. Do you think that because you are a Gen Xer, do you think that the map navigation is the reason why you were able to navigate so well? Because that was something that we kind of grew up doing anyway.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It definitely helped out. I remember coming over to Kaylee's house, a couple of weeks before with my atlas
Yeah.
and setting it out and just familiarizing myself again with the different the things on the side. I don't remember what they're called, but the different symbols and what the different numbers meant and stuff like that. So yeah, I think
Just the fact
that
that
all
you
helped
said
out.
Atlas, that's enough
Yeah.
for me because most millennials don't know what
Well, we
an
also planned a trip out. We were dead set that we were going to Washington to California, because that's both where our roots were. So we mapped out an entire route of different ways that we could go from Washington to California. So when we open up our first thing and it says Oklahoma, both of us are like,
What?
not on our radar at all. So yeah, pretty funny.
But again, I think we take it for granted that maps are actually available everywhere. That seemed to be a common denominator with all four teams, is sometimes you really struggle to even get maps. And
Yeah.
that's crazy. Even walking into, and I tested it myself here in Charleston. I went to two gas stations. They don't sell maps anymore.
Nope.
No.
That's
Nope.
crazy.
We ran into CVS.
Yeah, I think that was
we ran
episode 8
into
that y'all had that problem. You guys
Yeah.
had that problem. You was like, "Oh, we're gonna ask somebody," and you couldn't find anybody to
No.
get.
not a gas
And-
station, not a
The strip malls.
the
that we
strip
went to,
malls,
like 4 or 5 different strip
hotels. Like we thought, well, maybe a hotel would have some, or nothing.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
nobody
goodness.
knows. Not one person knew where our addresses were. So eventually we got to the point where it was just, let's wing it.
Yeah.
There's a neighborhood. Maybe we'll find it.
We had one gas station that said, well, if it was a small enough town where they were like, well, if you just give me their name, I could tell you where they live. It's like, well,
Did
I
that work?
don't have their name yet. All I
No,
have
we
is
don't
the
know. We don't know
address.
where we're going.
We haven't met the relative yet,
Yeah, and we did get
Oh,
lucky though.
wow.
Like when we just decided to wing it, I think 4 times we came across the
Yeah.
house eventually. So it just, we had the right direction. But luckily for us, it was like a strip mall in a neighborhood. So you're going to head towards the neighborhood and maybe find it, and we did. So
Yeah.
Oh wow!
that was my least favorite part of the race, was finding the
Oh
house.
wow! Oh wow!
Yeah, it looked like that was stressful for all four teams.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
And I'm also going to say your kind of origin stories behind the series and your journey and your adventures were very different. Because Kaylee, you understood that you didn't know who your biological father was after you took a DNA test. Dan, when you were growing up, I mean, your adopted family were very transparent with you in terms of telling you that you were adopted, but no less loved than their daughter. But with you, Kaylee, what was that? I mean, you take a DNA test, and this is something that Donnie and I have always said on the show. DNA testing is not a joke because you really don't know what you're going to find. And even if people take a test just to see what they are in terms of, am I Scottish, Irish, Igbo, whatever, it does have real consequences. And what was that moment like when you realized there were names in your tree that were missing and there were names in your DNA matches that you just didn't know?
It's a crazy experience. I mean, growing up, knowing what you think is your father is, that's your father and this is who you are. And I was told about, my heritage and grandparents and things. I had an entire picture of who this man was growing up. And so when I took the DNA test, I really took it for my grandfather. We wanted to kind of see our, DNA, our genetics and all these kinds of things. I expected to see those names. I expected to see what I had been taught. And when it came up with different names, especially Destiny, Destiny was, one of the first names that popped up that I realized this isn't the last name I was given. This is a completely different last name. And this person has to be my sister because my brother took the DNA test on my mom's side as well. And so they're together, right? They're on the same plane. And I'm like, this has to be my sister. It threw me for a loop. I was 32. I went into a little bit of a depression and kind of like um, anxiety about it. Your whole life, you think one thing and then you realize it was not true. And so you get really emotional. And when the show came around, I decided that, under my understanding is that my dad did not know about me. It wouldn't be really fair for any time to kind of pass for us both not to have the answers. And that was kind of the driving force of just, I know he didn't know about me. And I felt I had kind of talked with Uncle Dan and I talked to some other people. And as a man, I felt like he had the right to know. So,
So when
And
you
Dan,
found out about your DNA, when you did the DNA well before the show,
yes.
I didn't. Oh wow. So okay. So when you did your DNA before the show, and you found the sister, you didn't contact her. You didn't do anything, and
I
she didn't contact you.
I did. I actually reached out to her, but she didn't check it. She's one of those that took the DNA, checked it once, and she never responded back. And so for 5 years, there was no response.
Oh
And my
wow.
dad, my dad hadn't taken it, so he wasn't on there. There was somebody who said this is potentially your father. It was like a green box, but it ended up being my grandfather. I find out later on that I actually DNA matched with my grandfather and some other family members. But it was just shocking to me to find all these names that you didn't know. And then I was told growing up that I was of a certain heritage, and then to find out that you're none of that and you're,
Yeah.
all these different things. I went back to my mom and I talked to my mom, and that's the first time in my life that she had told me that, there was a potential that it was a couple of different guys, it could be between a few guys. And it just sends you for a loop. You're not prepped for that. And I think emotionally, um, I kind of accepted the answers after it happened and I let it go. I reached out and nothing happened and I moved on. And 3 years later, Relative Race contacts us and comes out of the blue. And I felt like it was almost like a godsend. It was like,
It was.
you know,
right.
and there's so many things that happened for Ashley and Brennan to get on the show, to make my maternal family available for the show. And then to turn around and how we found out that we were going to be on the show is crazy. So it's just like the whole journey was meant to happen and somebody is guiding it for us for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was really
Wow.
cool how it all happened.
Yeah.
And for
So
you,
many
Dan,
things.
because at least with Kaylee, she had started that genealogy journey to building that tree and looking at DNA results. Had you even started that process at that point?
No, I hadn't. I had, I guess I had looked online in Washington State to see if the, adoptions were closed or if you could, get at that type of information and stuff. But I never really pursued it. I guess I didn't. Kind of like what Kaylee said about her sister. You checked it once and then never really, I had phenomenal parents. So, but then again, I'm glad I did it because it filled some holes that I didn't know I had.
And I want to
I'm
get
just
to
really
those
blessed.
goals. Because at least Kaylee, through DNA matches, had surnames and names of people like Destiny to look out for. You, Dan, had a completely blank slate. So, how
Yeah.
much work did Relative Race's kind of genealogy department, or or Dan, or anyone, kind of provide to you to kind of show you these really are the people that you're related to?
Well, after the show, they sent the ancestry information and stuff like that, and it showed where I connected to, like my sister Hannah, my mom, a couple other different cousins that it connected with. Um, I can't remember if my mom was on that list or not. I think she was. I'd have to double check. Anyways, it was just yeah, it was kind of weird not having a blank slate, not knowing anything.
So when you took
I,
your test, when you took your test, as far as when Relative Race gets you guys prepared for these things, like I'm very interested in knowing, like, when you're looking at this whole sheet, you get this family list in front of you. Is this the list of people that you might be, that they're preparing you to possibly meet, or
We
is
never
this just
received the list.
So
oh,
Nothing. We
when
had
we applied,
nothing. Yeah.
I turned over my ancestry to them. So I gave them access to my ancestry. They completely locked me out, so I couldn't see anything that was happening after a specific point. And I only had basic information. I didn't really have that much. I do see that my aunts were on there now, and I think that I might have saw them, but I overlooked that information originally. When I applied, I had originally applied with Ashley on season 13. We applied actually at the house. And when I got home, I had talked with him and he had said, you know, I want to do it. I might want to do this. And I was like, I didn't know that. If you had known that, I would have applied with you. So we reapplied together
Mm-hmm.
and put the application out. And when we started that process of talking with Tristan and the team, they made him take a DNA test. And we just turned that. He took the DNA test. We sent it in. He turned it over to them. And we never saw our stuff again until after the
After
show.
the show, yeah.
oh
So,
wow, okay.
yeah.
But that they nailed it was never any doubt. Dan, I'm gonna laugh. Made Donnie laugh about it before you guys joined us in the green room. When you met your mother for the first time, I'm like, yeah, he did not get his height from her. that,
No.
that did not come from that side of the family.
Right.
Um, his mother is very petite, and Dan is very tall. Um, and it was just so cool that as you were shown a photograph of your father, and then you were
Yeah.
told, I think you're 3/4 of an inch taller than he was. Did I hear
He
that
was
correctly?
he was like 6'6", 6'7", yeah, and I'm 6'8". So yeah.
Mhm. And the family member who saw you, she's like, yeah, there are a lot of tall people in our family.
Right. Yeah.
But you have your mom's face.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Like you,
Yeah.
you guys might be like this, but you literally have your mom's face. Like soon as,
Oh yeah.
because just like I said with Kayli and her dad, and in the green, in our little virtual green room, um, I looked at her and I was like, oh, that's Dan's mommy. It's like
Yeah.
as soon as I saw her, I'm like, okay, so we're meeting Dan's mom. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I have the whole conversation the whole time, and I sit in my room, either in my room or on my sofa. And the whole time the show is on, I'm having this conversation like it's five people in the room with me. But I promise you guys, it's just me.
Right
And
on.
it's just me, and I'm watching this show, and I swear to God, I'm having a whole conversation, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's Dan's mom."
Yeah, it
And
was weird to look at somebody's eyes and have the same colored eyes looking back at me.
that part,
That was kind of shocking, for me.
I think
yeah,
when Dan met Gina, like the second day when we meet his sister Gina, that's the first time I think it really settled in for Dan that this is going to be real. Like he's
Yeah.
going to really meet birth family, right? And so we went back and talked about it that evening and kind of voiced, our feelings. But Gina had showed us a picture of Dan's mom. And it was the first time that we both went, oh, she might be alive.
Yeah.
Like this is a recent picture, and it threw us for a loop. So we kind of adjusted and said, okay, well, we might meet her. We never expected it to be the next day.
No.
And I think that that's the biggest shock of the entire season for us. Well, no, what happens? No, I kind of expected to meet my dad. What happens to us tonight is probably the biggest shock for us for the entire season. But
you did not just
it was
smack me
a
with that. You did not.
but
you're
meeting
now,
his
listen,
mom, meeting his
My
mom.
mom was
Yeah.
amazing.
So we have a question from someone. I don't want Mary to think that I forgot her question, but Kelly just put up here that she loves the show and she cried so hard when she met her dad, when Kelly met her dad. So we're going to talk about you meeting your dad real quick. But I do have a question from Mary because she does wants to know. Mary is, and I want you to know who Mary is in case you don't know. Mary is the admin for the Relative Race Live show Facebook group. So I want you guys to know who that is. And she wants to know, what was your favorite challenge, just to be very quick to get that question out.
What's yours?
Mine, I think, it's probably the Zorb ball.
Yeah.
Getting that done in one trip versus several trips, I think was the best.
They make it look silly, but how fast it was for us, the Zorball was just, we were laughing and giggling, and he's got me rolling in the ball. I'm trying to balance. It was just, it was so fun. I will say for me personally, day 10, hands down, my favorite
Okay.
part of the whole show. But
We
we'll
can't
just
wait.
leave that
We gotta
there.
wait for that.
Yeah,
Now
well,
it's
this is
time.
a first. This is
Let-
a first for us because we've never interviewed contestants while this series is still hasn't aired completely. So there's
Right.
2 more episodes to go.
That's
So
right.
there's so many questions that we want to ask. We can't ask them because they're probably part of the last two shows. Dan, for me, my jaw dropped moment with you was when you learned about your father and the fact that his mother was native.
Yeah.
Because looking at you, you're a redhead dude. I'm thinking there was going to be Irish or Scottish or German or a combination of all of those three, and there's probably that in there.
Yeah.
I could tell by your reaction you did not see that coming. What did that mean to you?
Well, it's kind of funny because Kelly, my wife, Kaylee's aunt,
I mean,
she's that side of the family is Native American. So it
it's a
was just kind of,
competition
yeah,
in
it's
our
kind
family.
of
Like,
we're very competitive in the family, so it was kind of like, what? Hey, I got some too, hon.
yeah.
So
I think that's one of the first things he said. He's like, I can tell my wife that I'm native too.
so,
So I
but
want to get into Kelly and meeting Dad.
Okay.
Okay, so let me get my mind together because I got stuff here to wipe my face in case I start crying. So okay, Kelly, darling, when you met your dad and you got out that car, how did you know that was him? Because you got out the car and you just was like this far from dropping to your knees. Instead, you just bent over. How did you know? Because what happened that let you know that that was him before you even got up to him?
I think on this show, if you watch it enough, you'll catch how relatives talk about a family member. On day one, my Aunt Bridget kept saying, "This is your dad. He is this way. He's so full of life. He's so happy." Um, she wasn't saying was, she was saying is. And so in my mind, I kind of already
Knew he was
clicked
alive.
that he was alive.
Right.
When I met my sister, she talked to me about what type of dad he was and the kinds of things that she had experienced with him. It was another reassurance of like, okay, this man's alive. And then my sister told me about how she had a conversation with him, like when he called and told her about the show. And I knew for sure in that moment. And so as day by day by day goes by, you're sitting here going, I think I'm going to meet my dad. And we're talking about it and we're talking about it. But every day keeps going by and that's not happening. And I don't know what it was about Galveston. It's like the second we got into Galveston and you're seeing the beach and you're seeing this beautiful scenery, I just felt like it was a big day for us. Like we just knew it was going to be a big day. And we had met his mom. So I thought that it was going to be my dad. And when I saw his face, I mean, it was years of emotions built up that come out in that moment, all the pain, the trauma, the questioning, the rejection, seeing him standing there in that moment. And it's just so surreal and it overwhelms you. It's just, I felt like my inner child came out in that moment and like, I let it all out. And it was hard. It would have been really embarrassing if he was my uncle. I mean, saw his face, but he was my dad. Like I saw his face and I just like, it was me. That's my face. And
Yes, it was your face.
yeah, so you can't deny it. The second he walked out the door, we saw it and it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we almost knew with every family member.
Really?
I think like once they came out, like we saw them, we almost knew immediately like, oh, this is my aunt. This is your sister. I think Gina's the only one we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We just had a feeling with every family member, like standing in front of us, who they were.
Yeah. Well, meeting Destiny.
I think for me, for you guys, like I was telling you in the green room, I knew from the, you know how Relative Race will have an interview with each team,
Yeah.
and before the shows come out, they interview each team. And so they interview you guys, they interviewed the green team, they interviewed the blue team, and then they interviewed the black team.
Yeah.
It was the black team that I knew off the break. I saw it and I looked at him. I was like, oh, so it's gonna be y'all that's just gonna break me down. That's literally that was my post. I actually said that on Facebook. I'm like, oh, so it's gonna be y'all that's just gonna break me completely down. I see it, the whole story, the whole background. Gabby is just got me wrapped around her finger already, like a little baby. She got me wrapped. It's not even Dan. It's not even her uncle. It's her. She
David.
got me wrapped. Yeah, David. I said Dan. She's got me wrapped around her finger already. And then the first show, just how her reaction was just by meeting the first person she met. I'm like, this girl gonna have me crying this entire moment. But then you met your family member, and I was like, oh wait a minute, she wasn't supposed to do this to me. Wait, and then it was like every episode you were just sneaking in my heart in piece by piece by piece, and I'm like, this daggone red team just gonna take me out, and I just started crying and crying. And by the time you got to your dad, girl, my head was in my hands, and I'm looking around. I'm like, is anybody in here with me? Because this is too much, and it was a lot. And you guys just kind of snuck in, and this is the only other season. And I love Relative Race because I've been watching it from the beginning, and I've seen the changes in Relative Race from having 2 tests that they have to do to breaking it down. I mean, when I tell you I'm a aficionado of Relative Race, I just feel like I am. Just everything about it. But I can see the switch in Relative Race from season 2, where the guy first found his dad and he was like, this is real. If y'all don't know, this is real, to the people start actually showing their family and saying, hey, this is who I've met, and these are the people that I know, and did you see this person? Like, they look like me. And just everything about what Relative Race has gone through, and the growth of it. And now watching you guys, like the love that comes from each team, each season, as they go and as they grow, to even one season not actually having that kind of connection with the team. I've even seen that, and watching that change, and seeing that happen, but still the rest of the team still connecting. So I've seen all of that, and there's only 2 seasons that actually have each other, grow with each other, and probably still connect really, 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 really well. And that's season 6 and you guys.
Yeah.
And I really see that love with you guys, and I appreciate that love with you guys. Not saying that the rest of the seasons are not like that, totally, but you guys show it so different. And I'm just so appreciative of it, and especially in this day and age, and the things that are going on right now with the climate, both political and just the tension that has been built up by different things that have gone on. You guys definitely are a breath of fresh air, and I appreciate it wholly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I do. I appreciate it.
And I'm right there with you. I can't watch an episode of the show without crying and feeling the deep emotions that all of these people feel, right? And so, second I met David and Gabby, we knew we were hooked on their story, and that we were going to be crying the entire time. And then, Jen and Joni, they sneak up on you, and they have their own emotions and stories, and they're just they really are the kindest ladies, and really just, I mean, Team Blue and Green, we love them to death. So we
yes. Oh, I'm getting them on the show too. And you saw how I had to come to Team Blue's rescue on the app. I didn't like how
Good
people.
play. It was a good decision.
Yes.
If none of us are mad, nobody else should be mad.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna need y'all to stop that. Get off of them. Understand and know that this is still a game. This is still a race.
Yeah.
They still
Yep.
have to make the necessary decisions. And I'm glad you actually went into something like that because how do you, even though I know the show is not over yet, how do you, decipher between when it's game to you and when it's not?
Well, for me, I just considered it just having a fun time. Met these people on day one or media day, I guess they call it day zero. I just felt like I cared for them.
Yeah.
And then only having the Zoom call at night was kind of frustrating, but actually sitting down and being able to watch the show and see their stories unfold, I have fallen in love with them even more than what I had for them from before. So actually being able to see it instead of hearing it just for 5 minutes on a Zoom call is just been really it's been really emotional for me.
Yeah, and I don't think we saw it. I mean, it is a competition, but at the end of the day, you just want everyone to do well and you want everyone to get the answers. So we just looked at it as let's go out there and do the best we can. We're just going to put our best foot forward and it's going to place wherever it places. And so there was never really I guess that competitive nature of I want to be better than the other teams. I wanted everyone to get their answers. We wanted everyone to succeed. We wanted everyone to do well in the challenges as well. And just whoever is on top that day is on top. And that's how we saw it. So,
Yeah.
And that's great. That is great. And Donnie, I have a little theory. I think the reason why this particular style of show and what everyone is kind of trying to find and grapple with hits you a little bit differently. Because within our South Carolina family, you've helped so many people who've had, just say, unexpected paternity results. You've helped them find their place in our family.
Yeah, my
You've done
mom is
that
an
for
Eve, y'all.
them.
My mom's DNA is an Eve. It's absolutely amazing DNA,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
she connects to everybody. So she's helped about what 15 to 20 people her DNA.
That's amazing.
I think you may
Nice.
even be closer to 25 at this point.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, her DNA is absolutely amazing. So maybe that's it. I mean, that could be it, Brian. I
Well,
don't know.
because you know what it means to them. You know what it means to our cousins who started off as DNA cousins find their place within our family.
It's so
Yeah.
important. And the work that you guys do is amazing. And I think for Dan and I, we cannot thank Relative Race enough for what they did for us. These holes that you're missing, these questions that you have, they never go away. And sometimes you just become content
Yeah.
with not knowing the answers. But it's not healthy for you. I mean, at the end of the day, it still eats away at you. And so any information that you can get is amazing. And I will never say it enough. The work that you guys do is truly remarkable. And you are saving people's lives ultimately and giving them questions to lifelong answers that they deserve to have. So thank you for your guys' work.
Well, thank you, thank you. I wish they felt that way. Some people don't feel that way, and I think that's and thank you, Kelly, for saying that. But sometimes some people don't feel that way. Some people don't want to actually know, and I like how Relative Race keeps that away from
Yeah.
they keep that away from you guys. They make sure that you guys only meet the ones that want to know. They only you meet the ones that want to love you. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes the show Relative Race so great, because all you feel is love consistently, wholeheartedly, and that love consistently pulls through the show. It comes out through the airwaves, and everybody is just always loved, and always just it's just love
Yeah.
Yeah.
forever, you know.
I'm also going to say, and that's a perfect segue, Danya, through all the seasons, but talking about yours specifically, it seems to be the biological family members who didn't know you but knew of your existence. When they met you, it was like you felt you were the missing puzzle piece to their
Oh,
family. Is that a good way of phrasing that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just amazing all the love and the kindness that we've been shown from like my family members that I met and Kaylee's family members that she's met. We're not blood related, but we feel so accepted and so loved from each other. It's it's really amazing.
And I think ours is a little different. So for my family, they didn't know about me. So it was like this amazing gift that they had been, received, and they were super excited about it. But for Dan's, they had known about him, and they had been searching for him and had hit brick walls as well, and just came to the realization that, if it happens, it happens. And so to watch them, fill these holes and just immediately be overwhelmed with emotion, it was a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah.
We were looking at pictures the other day, and the way his Aunt Lori is looking at him in these pictures is just, it's just amazing. It's like that look that you can't recreate those moments, and you can
no,
just see the
you
pure
can't.
joy in her face.
No, you
So,
can't. And then the thing that I love the most about, with Dan and his mom, I love how she was like, I just wanted you to be with a good family. He was like, I was. And I'm like, y'all need to stop. It's just it makes you feel good to see that even though mom didn't want to do what she had to do, but she did it because she wanted to make sure that you were okay. But in
Mhm.
the interim, she was like, I want to find you later to make sure that you were okay. And everything about it is just, it's always a beautiful thing, because I also want to find you because I want you to know that I love you, and I did it because I love you, and please don't be mad at me. It's always that kind of thing. And you're like, no, I was never angry at you, and I was in a beautiful home. It's those types of things that make these stories wonderful, and you guys definitely just gave that. And I'm so glad that your family knew that you were there, and they were ready, and they were waiting for you, and they were so glad when they found you, that it was
Yeah.
just a wonderful thing. And you were so choked up, and you were so, like, I'm gonna tell you, the 2 days that when you found your mom and you found your dad, there were two movies back to back right after both of you guys shows that were just as touching. When I tell you guys, I cried from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night on both days, that it was crazy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I just can't watch these shows. This BYU.
yeah, it's just you're crying for strangers. It's like, wow.
I
No,
was
I
just
cry
so
every time I
good.
watch him. Every
Yeah.
time I watch him. And I mean, he's such a gentle guy, right? So
He
anytime he gets
is.
choked up, I'm just,
Yeah.
every
Yes.
time my makeup's crying off, I can't handle it. And then he does that, like, and I'm like, stop it, Dad, please.
And then when Dan first met his first person, I think it was his sister, you I thought you were gonna lose it.
No,
Kelly.
I lose it every day. I was so proud. I'm happy for him because I
Yeah,
kind of knew what I was looking for coming into this. He had no
no
idea. So
idea.
every
Yeah.
person was a shock to us and amazing.
Yeah.
And I
No,
don't
it was
know.
very special. Yeah.
I don't know. We have pictures and we look back and just our faces are like this just amazing shock that we have and so many emotions. It's just a fun experience.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm just so glad though that you guys are on the show. Um, so y'all can't give us nothing, not even a little bit for tonight. Nothing.
No.
No,
Bring your
nothing.
tissues. It's a
Bring
good
your
episode.
tissues.
It's a really good day 9. And we go into maybe what is considered the best day 10 ever. So it's worth it. This tonight is going to be worth it. And happy Mother's Day to Jen and Joni. I just want to say that too while we're out
Yes.
here. They are
Yes.
amazing mothers, and I am so grateful that they are in my life. So I just want them to know that we love them very much. And, happy
And we
Mother's
do.
Day to them too.
Yes.
So,
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, we do love them. And they will be getting an email. They will be on the show. Matter of fact, all of season 15 will be on the show in pieces.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
That part. So we do want to let people know that get ready, because all of season 15 will be on the show in pieces. They will. And we appreciate you guys so much for being up here. Is there anything extra that you guys like want to say? I know you can't share anything else from the show, even though I'm trying to get you to give me just a little bit, but nevertheless.
It's a whirlwind of a day. No, I will say that if you're looking for family and you're scared to reach out or to do it, or you're scared of rejection, do it. You deserve to have the answers. You deserve to have that peace of your heart filled. I knew going into this that it may not turn out to be the best situation. You know, I'm very blessed that it did. But having the answers is better than not knowing. And so if you get that chance to dig into your roots and find out where you come from, I would just let, the fans or anyone else know. Take any chance you can to do it, because you deserve to fill that hole. So,
definitely. I would agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely worthwhile.
Well, while this show may delve into a lot of history and stuff, that is the origin story of Genealogy Adventures, is to encourage people to have just that kind of experience.
Yeah. Are you guys still digging in and finding stuff? Have you continued to do genealogical research?
Oh yeah. And there's so many family members that are popping out of the woodwork that you're like writing down, like, who are you? Oh, okay. But we're in contact with everybody we met on the show. We're in deep contact with them. And like even Ashley and Brennan, like I'm really close with Ashley. We talk every week, if not
really?
a couple times a week. So
you and Ashley are like in the same age, right?
No, she's my mom's cousin. So she's Dan's age.
Yeah, she's my age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so Brennan's more closer to me, but
Brennan is closer. That's right. That's her daughter.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
I'm the weird one in the family, in my mom's family, that's by myself. Everybody is older, everybody's younger. So I just
so chill. You're like me.
Yeah. I'm just in the middle.
Because I'm like the baby in my mom's family. I'm the last granddaughter, but my grandparents were born in the 1890s. Wow. But I'm 53 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. I got it. We're not weird. We're special.
We're special. Yeah. Well, so I hang out with everybody.
I'm a third one. There are very few cousins of my generational level that are my age, because there's such a large age gap between me and my next oldest sibling.
Yeah.
So I'm like a whole other. They're almost like boomers. I'm Gen X.
Yeah.
That's the
it's a
age
weird spot to be in, right? So
I love it. I love it because my mom is silent generation. That's what it is for me. Like my mom is a silent generation person. My sisters and brothers are boomers.
Yeah.
I'm a Generation X. So, but thank you so much, for being on the show with us. Don't hang up. Next week, guys, we're going to have a really great show. We're actually talking to a descendant from the Tulsa race riots, and Annalise Bronner. And she's going to actually talk about her new book and a film. Am I correct, Brian?
Indeed. And her grandmother's book, who was the actual survivor of Tulsa.
Right. So
book.
we're gonna get some real live history about what actually happened with the Tulsa race riots. That's next week at 4 p.m. and we want you guys to definitely join us. So we will see you.
So we hope that, for any of you who are sitting on the fence, this show has actually inspired you to maybe there and try and find your family.
That part. And if you got to do it through relative race, please do. And I will be watching.
Me too. Do it.
So until next week, I'm Danya.
I'm Brian. Have a blessed day. And again, have an amazing Mother's Day.
Yes, enjoy your day. My daughter's getting ready to cook for me. So with that part. Anyway, stay on, guys. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.